Hello everyone, welcome back to the series of database management system. Today we are going to see structure of DBMS. Now this is the structure of DBMS where we have applications, end users, DDL, then we have DML compiler, query optimizer, store data manager, data files, compile DML, data dictionary, DDL compiler. We are going to see each one in detail. Now, what is DDL compiler? Data definition language compiler processes schema definition specified in DDL, that means data definition language. It includes metadata information such as name of the file, data item, storage details of each file, mapping information, etc. Next is DML compiler and query optimizer. DML commands such as insert, update, delete, retrieve from the application program are sent to DML compiler. So these are manipulation, correct? Manipulation commands, DML commands for compilation into object code for a database access. So what DML compiler will do? DML compiler will take insert, update, delete, retrieve all these queries, data, and it is going to convert that into bytecode, that means object code. The object code is then optimized in the best way to execute a query by the query optimizer and then sent to database manager. So query optimizer will optimize this query and then it will send this query to data manager. Now what is data manager? The data manager is the control software component of DBMS, also known as database control system. Okay, so this is the main control. Now functions of data manager is convert operations in the user queries coming from combination of DML compiler and query optimizer from logical view to physical file system. Now what we said that DML compiler and optimizer optimizes the query, converts into object code, and it gives to data manager, correct? Now what data manager will do? Data manager will take this query and convert from logical view to physical file system. Okay. Next is it controls DBMS information access that is stored on disk. So DBMS data manager will control all the data which is stored on disk, who will access it. Next, it is also control buffer in main memory. It also enforces constraint to maintain consistency and integrity of the data. So it also manages all the constraints which you impose on your table. It also synchronizes the simultaneous operation performed by concurrent user. If two users at the same time accessing the same database, that is called concurrent performance. Okay, so your data manager is going to manage such concurrent users. Next, it also controls backup and recovery. Next is data dictionary. Data dictionary is the description of data in the database. It contains information about data, that means name of the table, name of attributes of each table, length of attribute and number of rows in each table. Relationship between database transaction and data items, reference by them, which is useful in determining which transactions are affected when certain data definitions are changed. Constraints of data, that is range of value permitted, and detailed information on physical database design such as storage structure, access path, file and record size. So that means data dictionary contains all the information about your table, your file. Next is data files. It contains data portion of the database. Next is compiled DML. The DML compiler converts high-level queries into low-level file. Access command known as compiled DML. So that means your DML compiler is compiling your data, compiling your query and convert it into object code. Now compiled DML means this object code which is compiled by DML. Next is end users. End users are the people who are going to use database management system using SQL. Next topic is users of DBMS. We have certain users like database administrator, database designer, system analyst, application programmer, and end user. First is your database administrator. Database administrator or DBA is a person or team who defines the schema and also controls the three level of database. The DBA will then create new account ID and password for the user if he or she need to access the data, correct? So if you want to access any database, we first need to create user ID and password for that, correct? So this user ID and password is provided by DBA. DBA is also responsible for providing security to the database, and he allows only the authorized user to access or modify the data. So that means this is the responsibility of DBA that only the authorized user should access your database. DBA also monitors recovery and backup and provide technical support. The DBA has a DBA account in the DBMS which is called as super user account, correct? So first your DBA should have account and that account is called as super user account. DBA repairs damage caused due to hardware and software failure. So it is going to repair your damage also. This is database administrator. Next is database designer. Database designer means what? The who designs your database, who structures your database, who will say that what tables are there, what indexes are there, what constraints we are going to use. Okay, all this is done by database designer. So he or she controls what data must be stored and how the data items to be related. Next is system analysis. System analyst is a user who analyzes the requirement of parametric end user. They check whether all the requirements of end user are satisfied or not. Next is application programmer. Application programs are the back-end programmer who writes the code for the application program. They are the computer professional. These programs could be written in programming language such as Visual Basic, C, Fortran, Java, Pascal, PHP. Okay, so these are the programmers who write the codes, but they need database to connect with your code, with your application, so they can access your database. Last is end users. End users are the unsophisticated user who don't have any DBMS knowledge, but they frequently use the database application in their daily life to get the desired result. For example, railways ticket booking user are naive user. They doesn't know anything about how data is storing, where data is storing. They are booking the ticket, correct? The users are booking the ticket, but actually they are using the database. Therefore, they are called as naive users. Clerk in any bank is a naive user because they don't have any DBMS knowledge, but they still use database and perform their given tasks. Okay, clear? Next topic is advantages of DBMS. What are the advantages? It provides better data security, better data transferring, better data integration, minimize data inconsistency, faster data access, better decision making, increase end user productivity. It is very simple to handle. So these are the advantages of DBMS. Okay.